Hello, and welcome to another new voice show. I am your co-host, Johnny G.
And I am your other co-host, Brendan Madison.
And we are doing yet another new voice show.
That's right.
Yes.
Another one. Not the first one. Another one.
DJ Khaled, is that you? Another one. I guess we could do some background here about like our idea that came... Well, another new voice show, the idea behind all of that.
Sure, the idea we had just a few seconds ago?
Yeah, well, I mean, the name we thought of just a few seconds ago with the podcast name generator. But, like, the idea of a podcast overall is just to sort of talk about, like movies, kind of just anything, interview people, all that sort of stuff that you kind of get from every podcast.
Yeah, totally. Just basically just two dudes, sometimes some more, sometimes... other not dudes.
Yeah, dudettes.
Yeah, or just like...
Anything. Dogs.
The world is our oyster.
Exactly.
Right now.
The oyster's our oyster.
Exactly. I mean, I'm a fan of oysters. We can do an episode of oysters later.
We could do it.
Actually, I do know a thing or two about oysters. But for now, yeah, just whatever it is we feel like talking about.
Yeah, I think that's... I mean, there's not really much more to say about that than that. So... Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then, do you want to get into what we're talking about today? Which is we both saw Wonder Woman. A couple nights ago. We went pretty late. It was like 10:20, right?
Well, we tried to do the 9 o'clock showing, and then that got sold out real quick fast.
Yeah, it was a Tuesday. It got sold out on a Tuesday night.
Who watches movies on a Tuesday?
It's crazy.
Apparently, everyone.
I do, but
yeah. Who goes to the movie theater on a Tuesday? I also do that. Never mind.
Yeah, me too.
I understand. I understand why people do it now. But yeah, it totally sold out, and we ended up going and seeing the 10:20 showing in the Extreme Digital Theater.
Oh yeah. It was loud and in your face.
Yeah, my glasses were shaking off of my face with some of the action scenes. Like a bomb would go off and it just yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's when we saw it. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I think to start off, we're just going to do a quick little spoiler-free review. Should you see it? Should you not? I'm sure you probably have already made that decision if you're finding this yet another new voice show. But just in case you haven't, let's go through that. So Johnny, what do you think? What do you think about it?
Well, first off, we're real quick, just so I can say, we're going to do the first half of this sort of spoiler-free, so you won't have to worry about having any parts of the movie ruined for you. It's just going to be like our basic overview. And the spoiler portion you can skip. I'm going to put a time code here up on the screen, so take a look at that if you would like to skip the spoiler-free or the spoiler review. And that's all I have to say, and then I'll start my rant about Wonder Woman now. Wonder Woman was really good. Like, I found that DC finally got their footing in the cinematic universe. Like, I mean, we had great DC movies in the past. We had the Nolan Batman trilogy. We had the Christopher Reeve Superman movie. And this is the first time we got like a modern take on a superhero that I really thought was both comic booky and just a really good movie.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was way overdue for a Wonder Woman movie.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is one of the biggest superheroes that we have in comics and in the culture right now, and the fact that it took this long for her to get her own standalone cinematic release.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we got here now. And, and I'm so happy to say that it's fantastic.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't really say a whole lot of bad things about Wonder Woman, and I was totally expecting, because Batman vs. Superman was a huge disappointment, at least to me. Some people love that movie.
Yeah, I big disappointment.
I love parts of that movie. I love kind of the idea behind Batman vs. Superman, but it definitely was not a movie that should have been made as the first like real jump towards DC Comics becoming a movie company. They should have done some solo films, let us get to know some characters, and then have them fight. But that's for a totally other discussion altogether. But I mean, this movie was the opposite of that. It was a character that we know a little bit about, but now it's a character we know a lot about, and I feel like they did the origin story perfectly. I mean, there's just it's everything. It's so good.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I liked about the movie was that I don't know how long I think it was a little bit longer than what I was expecting, which was 2 hours.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Yeah. And I felt the time. It was something I was aware of, but it was something I was happy to have. Have in that, because the origin story part in the movie, the background actually went for quite a while. Like quite
it
a
was
bit of the
probably
movie.
the first 45 minutes were all just about Wonder Woman becoming Wonder Woman, which is not something you usually get out of an origin story.
Yeah, and like usually you get kind of right into the action with just a few exceptions, but
yeah.
With this one, it went for a long time, and I was worried that they were not going to have the time to follow through on all the stuff they were setting up, and they really did. They delivered in a big way, and they gave it the time they needed to build that up, and then they did not hold back on what they gave us. So it was good. I have very to answer the question. Should you see it? Should you not see it?
Absolutely.
You should see it. For sure. Definitely see it.
Go see it twice, honestly. Like, it's that good.
I've been kind of wanting to see it again.
I do. I kind of want to. It was just...
I don't often see movies twice. But this
I saw Guardians of the Galaxy twice. I saw Rogue One twice. And I think I might see Wonder Woman twice just because it was really good. It was something I'd totally be okay with experiencing one more time.
A big treat.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
As far as that, I don't have a whole lot else to say spoiler free. Is there anything last that you wanted to add? Or...
I mean, my basic spoiler-free reason why it's so good is just you've got amazing actors, you've got amazing storytelling, and cinematically it's outstanding. And I thought that Batman vs. Superman was also a fairly beautiful movie. There was a little too much in green screen. Sometimes you could really notice that it wasn't a true set or anything like that. You didn't get that with Wonder Woman. You definitely... Anything that was green screen looked really real, really good. It was done really well. So, yeah, definitely just... Can't recommend enough Wonder Woman, and now I think we should move on into that spoiler part.
Okay. Yeah. I'm ready for that.
Yes. So now there will be spoilers. Feel free to skip ahead to this time code to skip that.
Yeah. So you've been warned. Here we go.
Yes. Please don't hate us. Skip it. If those kind of things bother you. Otherwise, feel free to keep listening. Yeah. Parts of the movie that I thought definitely needed to be talked about a little bit more in depth. I don't know. First off, my big thing is Ares, the main villain.
So we're starting with gripes then, right?
Yeah, I'm going to start with my gripes just because we've talked it up and now it's time to talk it down and then bring it back up.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, my big thing, like the only thing I have like this huge opinion on is just the way Ares was done. And even my huge opinion isn't that big compared to how strictly I go on some movies. But Ares is a villain that I don't particularly care about. I don't think he's that important to the DC universe. I think he's important to Wonder Woman. But I thought the way, if you ever played Injustice, I thought he was done pretty dang well in that game. I thought he was a pretty cool villain. I thought he looked really cool. I thought he had the right voice. I thought, like, that's the sort of thing that if they put that into a movie, it would be really great. Like, that's, like, I could just see that becoming super cool. And the way that gods can take form of different people, all that sort of thing. I thought... That's a big one. I thought that could be utilized really cool. And I thought his armor was just going to be, like, super, just really cool. And honestly, it ended up being really cool. But it took a little while for him to get his armor. And just to start with that voice, like... They never really changed it all too much. Like, if you've seen now, of course, like, we know he is a mustached British dude, super scrawny, and he's got this really just high, like, oh, cheerio. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen, like, the Wild Thornberries, but he reminded me of the dad from the Wild Thornberries.
Okay, Nigel Thornberry.
Nigel Thornberry.
Yeah. Okay, that is the best critique of the character so far that I've heard, because I was talking to some people after we saw the movie about that, and I have very few gripes with Ares in the movie. Mm-hmm. I actually loved the way they pulled it off. I do agree that just the visuals of it could have been changed. Yeah. I mean, I figured, like, okay, he's this pleasant, proper mustachioed Britishman
yes.
For the time setting, right? Like, turn of the century England, World War I. This makes sense.
Yeah.
But then he showed up and revealed himself as Ares, and honestly, I think it was good. I think it was
a good twist. I like that twist.
Oh my gosh, the twist was great.
I thought, like, the way that he, like, subtly planned, like, more war without, like, by, like, pretending to end war. I thought that was super cool.
Exactly, and I'll get into that later because that's definitely something I want to touch on. But the part where they're talking in the like crow's nest kind of area, the outpost, I don't know what to call it, but where they're talking,
the overlook type tower thing,
and like the silhouette as it reveals him like standing in there, that part was great. I liked the look of him there. I was even okay with him once they finally revealed his god power, and
Yeah.
that was okay. That was one of the best, I have to say, like fight scenes in a solo hero movie that we've got.
That fight scene was awesome.
I really liked seeing like god power cut loose.
That was cool. That was really cool.
Yeah, and just they didn't even actually do that all that much. Like he was lifting up stuff, he was levitating. There was a lot of lightning, which kind of crossed over into Zeus. That I wasn't so sure how much I liked about that. But
I feel like Ares should have been more fire oriented.
fire
but you know
more
what?
than
Lightning,
lightning,
that's okay. Whatever.
Yeah,
it looked cool, so I can't really have a huge gripe about that.
That's a nitpick. And his hands on the lasso with the lightning, that was really cool.
That was really, really cool.
But just like the ease with which he made everything look.
Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic.
That's what a god would do, so I thought that was,
Yeah, but then when it got to like the flashbacks, his own flashbacks of him, and he's like kneeling in a puddle.
Yeah, it's just like,
and he's like
so
shirtless.
sad, and he's
yeah, and he's looking up and he's still got that stupid mustache. It's
like
he's like, I'm not
even if he has to be that actor, like shave your stupid looking mustache, your Nigel Thornberry mustache, or at least just like, I don't know, give him some like makeup, make him look a little bit more gruff, like a God of War. But he's not that buff of a guy.
Yeah, I mean,
just put his face on like Chris Pine's body even, and that's a little bit more like, that is a God of War.
Yeah, he didn't, and I guess that kind of, I don't know, that
that's a stylistic choice, I guess.
It is, but again, like he's a Greek god. You can beef him up a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But and then I get it. He needed the FaceTime. Like that was probably a contract thing. But when he did get the armor and he like melted the eye holes and stuff,
I was expecting just like cool. Red eyes, just black face, just something like whoa, that's super cool. And then I expected the more of that voice from like Injustice to come in, where it's just really deep, and it's like, Diana, you're going to die, or whatever. And then add a little bit of reverb, and it's like this cool, like, whoa, that's Ares, that is the god of war.
Yeah, make it sound like an otherworldly voice,
exactly.
like a foreboding voice.
Yeah.
But
that didn't happen.
when it because like usually like one of the things that like when I watch Game of Thrones and Jon Snow's in the north and everybody's got their hoods up because he's cold, but Kit Harington is like, my ears are fine. Because he needs the FaceTime or whatever. So I kind of got that. And I was surprised that they gave him the FaceTime even with the helmet on. Mm-hmm. But just that weird, like, kind of like
the mustache
smile. The mustache is there, and it's like you can see it. And the mustache is.
It never really looked like a God of War was wearing God of War armor. It just kind of looked like he suddenly got this really badass armor that just didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't. The armor on his British face was a little. I don't know what's going on here, but
chair's messing up.
Yeah, but and we're kind of railing on the look of him. Yeah. When really the movie was beautiful. The movie beats all Marvel movies out of the way as far as I think look goes, other than maybe the first
stylistically, two. I would say that Marvel. I mean,
they're all kind of generic. It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Honestly, like. I could go into like talking about like Marvel movies and just the way that they're kind of just made as crowd pleasing movies. Nothing's done too incredibly amazing. There's a lot of CG, which is totally fine. But I don't think that we've ever had like a cinematically just amazing Marvel movie. I mean, we had scenes in Civil War, like when the Iron Man just comes in, hits Cap's shield, and it's this beautiful shot. But it seems so out of place for me. Like I actually don't like that shot in the movie just because it doesn't seem to fit anything else with that jarring. Movie. It just kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's like, well, now you're doing slow-mo. You never do slow-mo. What's going on here?
I can kind of see that. Yeah, I didn't.
It was like it's not that I like don't like the scene. I think it's like awesome. It's like whoa. It's like that scene. It's like the panel from the comic book. It's like whoa, that's awesome. But it's also like it doesn't fit. Mm-hmm. It fits because it's like cool and it's awesome, but it doesn't fit at the same time.
Yeah, and I can see that. And that was like Wonder Woman didn't really seem to have that too.
No, I thought that Wonder Woman had scenes of like slow-mo that were just
Yeah. Well, oh my gosh. Okay, this the action aside from that god power. Let's cut loose and throw everything at Diana. Like that was crazy. But some of her own action scenes are so guttural and they hit so hard, and it's not quite R-rated. Which I was like, oh come on, she's using a sword. Like.
The thing thought,
and it's World War I. But like some of those scenes, like where she knees the guy through the wall, like had me laughing because it's just so impactful and
it's just
that's like a little too far. Like almost.
I know. Like I sat there, I was like, oh my god, that's so sweet. Like it was just like, whoa.
Yeah, it was just so shocking that I was like,
yeah.
Whoa, okay.
I thought they did a really good like just talking about like it wasn't quite our action. I thought it was impactful. I thought you saw her might and her power come through, and it was dark. But they shot everything in a way where you didn't really need to have like blood spilling, anything like that. I thought it gave that, and I think that gives more of a comic book feel when things aren't super like.
I guess
did you ever see Watchmen?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
Not watched
well,
the movie,
like Watchmen has got like it's a really gross, like, well, not gross, but more of like a grotesque comic book, which is totally fine. And it's great, and it's a magnificent book, and I totally like it's awesome. It's great. But the movie that Zack Snyder did, he just made it incredibly, like, every fight, every kill, everything was just so grotesque and just way out of the top gore, like over the top gory. And Wonder Woman didn't do that, but Wonder Woman also conveyed more comic book stylized violence in a better way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And that's not a problem that with me is that I didn't find the lack of gore to be a problem, because it's like you want to make it accessible, so
yes.
that's definitely very off-putting. But just the amount of not really gratuity, but just like impact that they were able to accomplish without that was so impressive. That was really cool.
Like the thing that I think Wonder Woman did really well is they made everything that was real seem very real, and everything that was fantasy was even that much more fantastic.
Mm-hmm. They didn't go into a whole lot of fantasy.
Not as much, but it was like anything that was like, whoa, like Wonder Woman's like jumping like super high and everything that. Or like any of her like any powers, like anything that was like
the part where she was like digging her fingers into the wall.
That was
like,
so cool. Like that was
another part
incredible.
where she does that, and I'm just laughing because of how
I know,
much bigger
there,
she's throwing her fingers
and then
into
all of
the
a
wall.
sudden she's like, and then she's like, hey, wait, I can do this, and then she just starts like slamming it. I was like, oh my. Whoa!
Yeah.
That was so cool.
But going back to the biggest, really only the biggest complaint I had with the movie was that so they set up Ares as the god of war. Diana's thinking that she's going to be able to end all wars if she kills him, and then he's talking and he's saying, "I've encouraged wars. I've led them along. I've given them ideas on how to do it, but I've never been the one to pick up the gun. I've never made them pull the trigger."
Yeah.
That was really cool. So, it's because he said like the darkness is inside them. I'm just showing everyone that it's there.
Yeah.
That was really cool. But then she kills him, and everybody gets up and starts hugging. And, like, the Germans and the British and the Americans, everybody's like having a good time. And I'm like, wait, I thought he just said that wasn't him. That was, and I would have preferred that it not have been him. Mm-hmm. I guess it would have been a little dark had she killed him and then somebody just gets shot in the head. You know? So I understand why they did it. It was just, it was a little contradictory to what they had already said.
I agree, but also like my kind of thought about it is he was planting that seed in not just like everyone, but like the people who really pulled the trigger. Or the people like Lindenberg, who was just this evil person. You had like
was
Dr.
that his name? I couldn't
I
figure
think
out
it
what
was
his name
Lindenberg. I might be wrong.
I don't know. Whatever.
Ludenberg. I don't know, but it was something Berg. It was the German war. Not the general, but
he was like the
admiral.
The guy, the sleazy
the
guy.
Big,
was like,
the guy that she thought was Ares, but wasn't actually Ares. I thought that like him, and I thought that the Dr. Poison or Dr. Death or whatever they called her.
Dr. Poison. I wonder where that name came from. Probably a 1940s comic.
No, but I thought that because those people were the true, like they were evil. Like they in there, they were every just cell in their being.
She gasses a guy and watches him die and is like, ooh, smiley about it.
No, like she sits there and it's like she's upset that it took him like that long, that the freaking gas mask didn't ruin. And then that I thought was a really well done scene.
Enough pain, and
then it just like, and the mask goes off, and then all of a sudden you hear the guy scream to death. Like that was the kind of dark stuff that I thought was really cool to sort of convey what was going on in World War I. Just because,
like, and that kind of shows. So here's a thing that I've thought, like, just in terms of DC and Marvel, is that in Marvel, like watching Iron Man 3, and he's going around with like electrocuting people by the head and then shooting somebody, and then he makes a joke and everybody laughs. I'm like, okay,
that's the thing. Yeah.
But then in the DC movies, like the heroes are generally no-kill heroes.
Yeah.
Well, the precedent has been broken a little bit. Yeah, but generally they're trying their best to kill as little as possible, even the bad guys. And then still like this is the movie that the adults see. This is the grown-up movie.
Yeah.
But Diana didn't, like, in Wonder Woman they didn't do that so much, right? Like she was a kill hero, and
but she did, like, I thought that
towards the end she changed her mind a little bit. And I don't know where they're going to go with that, cuz in my head Wonder Woman is kind of a kill hero.
I think Wonder Woman is a kill hero to people that need to be killed. I don't think she's a kill hero to every little henchman. Mm-hmm. And that's where I thought Batman versus Superman failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hung a guy. What? No.
Yeah.
No, but no.
He was going to kill someone else. I had to do it.
You ran him over with his car.
I know.
He's fine.
I want to kill another
one. She is a soldier. She was raised as a soldier, and that's what she did. She fought in a war and killed people.
Yeah.
And I was actually gonna the fight on the beach, I was counting how many. She killed 2 people on the beach.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe I'll count through the whole movie. And then I gave up.
Well, actually, I just remembered this. Part of her thing was she won't kill somebody who is unarmed. And Dr. Death, whatever her name was, the lady with the mask, you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. She was not armed at the time. She was inevitably going to die because of what was going on right there. And I was like, I get why she's not killing her. She's going to send her to prison or whatever, and that's going to be her sentence. But also, I thought just seeing her, how can you have any sympathy for somebody like that? I feel like at that point, I mean, sure, she was going to, I thought she was just going to throw the tank at Ares or whatever, but, she didn't have to kill her at that point, but I was like, there's no reason for you not to.
Yeah. And then, and well, you're right, there was no reason for her not to, but I thought it was more to say, not let Ares win. Not just in a more physical fight for, but in an ideological way.
Yeah.
But then I wouldn't say she was going to die there because people got up and were
that's
like,
true.
They were
I thought of that as soon as I said that. I was like, actually, no, that's why there was hugging between Germans and
and Dr. Poison was not in any of the hugging. Mm-mm. We didn't see that, so
I think she did die.
You do?
I do. I think she. Well, I know she's dead now because it's the that took place.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, she can't come back.
That doesn't mean we can't see any more Wonder Woman movies that take place before the main
That's
chronology,
true.
Which I would like.
That's what I wanted them to do with Captain America. Is because now they killed off one of my favorite Captain America villains, Red Skull.
Ooh, no, they didn't though.
Is he alive?
No, but he got sucked up in the blue. Skybeam.
Yeah.
There's thought that he's gonna come back in.
That would be cool.
Because that was
an
Infinity Stone. Yeah,
I liked Red Skull.
And I don't know. Captain America always has a habit of bringing his villains with him. So.
Well, pretty much every superhero has a problem with bringing their villains with them.
Yeah, you're right. So I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up again. But,
I would like that.
We do have some more period pieces potentially on the way, which would be cool. I would be down for seeing that. But
you could have something like the Grey Ghost pop up. I don't know, just some other heroes like that are supposed to be set in old times. Even you could have I don't know, Dr. Fate shows up back then, and then that's his introduction to Dr. Fate now. Cause
that would be really cool.
Something like that,
And you could have Wonder Woman, this familiar character, being the person who's introducing all of these more obscure ones.
That's what I thought would have been cooler for Marvel too, doing their Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. Would have been cool just to introduce some of those lower level characters through. But they also do
already have the Guardians of the Galaxy are who's this talking raccoon?
Yeah. Although they do a really good job of taking unknown characters and making them known. They really do. There's no. The thing I think the DC would end up doing is going more towards source material, but Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't. And a lot of Marvel movies in general don't really hit source material.
A whole lot, yeah.
It's kind of they're making their own story with help from references from any comic book that's out there, anything like that. So Civil War wasn't page for page what Civil War was, but I thought it was still a good telling of that story.
Well, so here's the thing. I heard the DCEU, so the DC animated universe, described as taking the characters and breaking them to their core and putting that purest version of this character in this story. That's kind of what it seems to me, at least, that the MCU has done with a lot of their Marvel characters.
Yeah.
They've been heavily influenced by the actors portraying them.
Yeah.
And also by what.
Well, honestly, some of those characters, Iron Man, has now been flipped to be more like the Iron Man from the Iron Man's movies and stuff like that. A lot of the characters, because of their actors, Nick Fury was completely changed to a different type of character because of Samuel L. Jackson.
Uh-huh. Well,
well, kind of.
I mean, they gave him a new look, but
well, new look and then new dialogue too, because Nick Fury wasn't always as snarky. I feel as
not so many quips.
Yeah,
they gave him the MCU.
And they added
quippage,
that. They added,
But okay, Yeah, and
At least like that's what I feel.
I can kind of see that, and even in the Amazing Spider-Man, they reworked that to fit Andrew Garfield a little bit, but just with the look and all. But as opposed to like that's where the MCU is right now. Is there and the same can be said of the DCEU because Harley Quinn came from that. Like,
well, yeah, she started animated. She was in Batman the Animated Series, and then she was in the Batman Adventures comic books before she was ever in a real DC setting. But people loved her, so they were like, okay, well, we'll make her like a real character, quote unquote real character.
Yeah. So as much as they are bringing the core of the character there, they're building on it and to a bigger audience, and that's kind of what the DCEU has not really done successfully yet.
I don't think because I didn't like Harley Quinn's portrayal. I didn't like the Joker's portrayal. I didn't really like Deadshot's portrayal. Like Suicide Squad was just one of those movies where I didn't think anybody was really like how I expected them to be. Killer Croc was nothing like any portrayal of Killer Croc.
That I didn't have so much a problem with, and Suicide Squad is a topic for another podcast.
Definitely. I should probably like stop there, but like I just don't think that they're like what you were saying. It's just like their source material is there, and they are those characters, but they aren't rooted to really their traditional anything. You know, like there's not their core what everyone thinks of Batman.
They're building on a foundation that they haven't made yet.
Yeah. Yes,
but they did a great job with the foundation on Wonder Woman.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is where Wonder Woman strives.
Yeah. It's leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of the DCEU right now. And I'm glad about that. And I was describing it later as a Thor movie done right. Yeah. And I don't like first Thor movie. I don't dislike it. It's fine. But
I don't like any of the Thor movies. I feel bad, but it's like for some reason for me, Thor is just like a throwaway character in everything he's ever done, and I don't know why, but because like I just hate when mythology, like something that's like ancient and just shouldn't really be skewed to be anything but that, starts coming into like the comic book universe.
Really? Because that's what happened in this movie.
No, I see. Like, well, I thought that they did that really, really well, and I thought that because Wonder Woman is so like. They just did that. Like I'm more of a fan for Greek mythology. I don't really like Norse mythology. It's more
obscure. It's less. It's not as popular. Yeah.
And I like the Percy Jackson series. So I was like, I felt like more familiar with the whole Wonder Woman thing, and I thought like the way they did it, it didn't feel like the way that like Thor is like, okay, you have Loki, and he's like Loki from the mythology, and like Ares is kind of like adapted to be a comic book more villain. And I think Loki now is more that way. I think Loki from the Avengers was done really well.
Okay.
I didn't like Loki from the Thor movie. It's weird. I feel like now it's better, but I don't know why I don't like Thor so much, but I really don't.
Thor has been kind of the weak link, just in my opinion, because
definitely
he's kind of the comic relief. Like they all make jokes, they all have their quips and stuff, but Thor is like the character that, and it's because he's the more fish out of water. He doesn't know what's going on. He's not familiar with his culture, not just like Captain America, where he's from a different time, but he's like from a time that was before any of these people were even.
Honestly, it's like the time before time because of him being.
But that's why I liked this movie, because Diana filled that role. She's totally out of her element right now, and that like this world is so foreign to me. I have no idea what's going on here. And she got the comedy beats good, or like down well, without. Like just being
exactly. I thought that you could still respect her. I don't think you really get to respect Thor as much. Like, I mean, you don't like disrespect Thor, but like, okay, so like kind of just the whole like Thor thing is him just being so dumb with how everything works, and it's like, haha, funny guy, he's got the long hair, he's got these silly jokes. But Wonder Woman was like, she was learning, and I felt like Thor never really learned how to be part of our current day.
Was she learning? Because I get the learning in like the sense of character development. Not everything
she didn't know everything, but it was like she sort of got like why things are that way. But I also like that she didn't seem stupid. She just at times seemed rebellious. Like she knew she wasn't like supposed to have a sword or anything like that. But that was just her being her, and I thought like that was like a nice like whatever, like a feminist thing. It's like kind of. I thought that was like making a strong female protagonist and doing it like the right way, because it wasn't just her being a laughingstock because she didn't get it. It was kind of funny because she would understand it. Like, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. Well, the thing, like, way to do like make bad decisions in a movie and do it well is have everybody like make the decisions that they believe are the best. So like in Thor's case, he is kind of not the brightest, so he does stupid things, and it's believable for the most part because he would be somebody to do stupid things. Whereas as far as Diana goes, she you could make the argument that on the island she did things she may not have done, but then like her mom was kind of sheltering her, and so but then when she got to the everybody world, all the people world, outside of Themyscira, she would do things just because this is how she learned it.
Yes.
This is her understanding of the world. This is how she thinks it should go. Quite often she was right, even though not everybody agreed with her. And even when she messed things up, she did it out of a place of like, this is what I think should happen. And
that's probably that's more of like what I was going for, is because it wasn't Thor just did dumb things because it was like, I don't know what this is. I'm not gonna try and pretend I know what it is. Oh, look it, I dropped it. Oh no,
I need a horse.
Yes, that sort of stuff. Instead of that, like with Wonder Woman, it was just like, I don't know. It was like everything seemed like rooted in like her wanting to do something and not like a writer saying like, and now you're just gonna be a silly guy. It's like now you're going to like, this is what Wonder Woman would do, not like this is what Chris Hemsworth as Thor should probably say. Yeah.
Well, on that note, let's turn that gripes session that was not so much a gripes on Wonder Woman. We didn't have a lot of bad things to say about Wonder Woman other than that silly mustache.
Yeah, that's the only like huge gripe I have. And then I mean, I guess like the hugging thing is a gripe too, but there's so much more good. Yeah, there's so much more good.
So let's get into the good. Let's talk about like what was shining up like about this movie. Why it's so great.
I just like this movie. This movie really reminded me of the like Captain America, the first Avenger, in the way where like not just because it was like that war setting, but it was like the first time like we had Marvel movies, like we had the Fantastic Four, we had the Sony Spider-Man, and we had like the Fantastic Four was kind of a flop. It wasn't something that like everyone.
Which one?
The original Fantastic Four movie, not the Fant Four stick.
Wait, the one with Chris Evans?
Yes, the one with Chris Evans. That was not that great of a movie. We had that movie that was like Marvel put that out. I mean, not just Marvel, it was like Columbia or Sony or whoever did that.
Yeah.
So you had that movie, and then you had other Marvel movies around the same time, like The Incredible Hulk. And I feel like those movies are sort of like what the DC universe has put out so far. It's like they're not movies that you necessarily have to hate, but they're not that good. Like they're not that good of movies. And then you get like Iron Man and you get Captain America, and it's like, whoa, you get this like really, really, really good movie that is like, okay, now I'm down for comic book movies. And I thought that's what Wonder Woman did. It's like, now I'm down for the DC Comics movies.
Yeah,
just because of it was so good.
Yeah, totally. I'm excited to see more.
Yes.
I'm really skeptical about Justice League.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Is Zack Snyder still behind that? Because
no, I think is it because Zack Snyder dropped out because of his daughter passed away.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think she committed suicide, and then he tried to work on it for about 2 months, I believe, and then he said like he couldn't do it anymore. But the person who directed Star Trek is now, I believe at least, is directing Justice League.
Okay.
Taking a lot of notes from Snyder.
Okay, then we'll see how that goes. But
yeah.
So last year I was skeptical of BVS and of Civil War just because of how much they were tackling and how they were going to do this. I was like, I was thinking this is, bleh. But then BVS came out and my fears were realized, and I was not looking forward to Civil War. I mean, I was stoked for it. I was like, this is going to be great. But I was very worried about it because they had even more to tackle than Batman v Superman did. And then it came out, and that was top 3 Marvel movies.
Yeah, that was really good. That was definitely...
I loved that one. And so with Justice League, now I've seen that it can be done. Yeah. But I've not seen that it can be done by this.
This universe basically. Yeah.
So I'm still worried, but Wonder Woman has given me a lot of hope for it.
Yeah, I thought that. I think like for DC Comics, like I think Suicide Squad was like a halfway there. I think that's halfway on how to like get a good team building type movie out.
Okay.
I mean, like it wasn't good, but I mean, like if you're gonna have to build from nothing, I thought that was like the half-ish way mark of doing something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
And so I think that if Justice League doesn't do some of the mistakes that happened there in Suicide Squad, then we could get a good Suicide Squad movie. But we're not really talking about Justice League. We're talking about Wonder Woman. And definitely, like, my biggest things that I loved about Wonder Woman was, I mean, first off, like, the cinematography. It looked beautiful. It was just a beautiful looking movie.
Totally.
Like, the entire time, I was like, wow, there's, like, good camera angles. My favorite camera angle, like, my favorite scene, probably, like, in a editing cinematography type perspective, would have to be the scene with when Ares is first revealed and he's doing those really just those teleporting things. Like, that was just like,
that was
it
really
just
cool.
Slowly, there's so much suspense, and then you think that Wonder Woman's just gonna like go in there and then like get him, and then it's just like boom, and now he's over there in another window, and it's like, whoa.
And that was just like how subtle, like it wasn't scary, like as in like kind of jump scary thing, but it was like so intimidating. Like, well, we're dealing with something that I really don't think we can be here. Right?
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I already know that she's alive in 2017. Right. I saw her. They saw her at the beginning of the movie.
The movie starts off with, all right, so she is in here. She gets a thing from Bruce Wayne. It's like, now it's time. But this is going to be set all around a flashback. Is what the movie's going to be centered around.
But when I was watching the No Man's Land part, and she gets to the end, and she's just being pelted with bullets, and she's got her shield up and like hiding, and I'm looking at it like, oh my gosh, she could die. What's gonna happen?
It honestly looks like there are times in the movie, like, even though you know she lives,
I forgot she was gonna live. I forgot it was like a for sure thing, and I was like, crap, what's gonna happen? And then that part ended. I remember that. Oh wait, she's all like, we know she's alive, and I felt stupid. But like, that was a good movie. It made me feel stupid, and that was good. Yeah. Like, also another time where it made me feel stupid was that twist. With Ares, because
I kept thinking, I was like, okay, I know it's not the big guy,
German
man.
Yeah, but
I thought it was gonna be Dr. Death. I thought it was gonna be that. She was just gonna go like, it's me. But I like the way they did instead.
Yeah, I at first I thought it was gonna be the German guy. Then I thought it was gonna be Dr. Poison, and I was thinking, okay, that's kind of cool. You get the foil for like a female antagonist for a female protagonist.
I thought that's what they were gonna do. Yeah.
I thought that's what they were gonna do, and I was like, I'm kind of on board. I can see where that works, but also, why does she need to feel like she's supposed to be just as like? Don't change anything about the story other than the sex of the protagonist. Why is that important? So then she started dancing with German guy, and he started talking about how great war is. I was like, oh, okay, it's probably that guy. But then she killed it. Like, she started fighting him, and I was like, okay, it can't be this guy. Like, what was the thing that he like broke and smelled and stuff? They didn't explain that.
So
I don't know what
that was one of the things that, like, this movie like did a really good job of wrapping everything up. There were very few plot holes, but there was that one thing where I was like, did Ares just go and say like, okay, now this, like, say like Dr. Poison, was it just like, because I know like they did that scene where it's like going behind, like whispering nothings into their ear. It's like, because like she said like
nothings into their ear.
I love you. I love war. You love war. You love me. Oh, thank you. But I thought it was like just sort of like, I feel like, because she said like, oh, this came to me last night. It'll give you more strength, and then she just.
Okay, yeah, that was.
I think it was just something that like Ares said. Like, that's just like my thinking on what happened, but they definitely didn't talk about that. And I think it was just some sort of like super soldier type serum or something like that.
I'd like to see that pay off somewhere.
I'd be like
later down the line.
You know,
otherwise, cool? That was weird. We might get into more gripes than we were supposed to get in the gripes section because. Yeah, go on.
I thought what would be really cool with that is if they like kind of like reference that in if they ever decide to add Bane. And that was like an ingredient that like made Venom possible.
That would be cool.
Because that would be so sweet. Because it honestly like turned him into basically Bane, because he's just a guy that ended up taking a couple of big hits from a freaking goddess.
Yeah, you're right. And that was the other thing they've established that she is a god, right? Like a straight up god.
She is, yes.
Okay, so will we at some point get to see her like floating and levitating and just disintegrating bullets in front of her and stuff? Or
that's not because that's more of like an Ares power. I don't think just because Wonder Woman doesn't have those as her like god powers. I mean, like who's the god? Dionysus is the god of wine, and all he can really do is make people party and make him. I'm gonna make these vineyards, yes, and now they're gone.
Yeah, no, he can make people party. But I mean, I feel like all the Greek gods had some kind of level of threat where. You're not just messing with a party man. You're messing with a party man who can like turn you into
like he
a
can
rat
make you
and then
party
turn you inside out, and then
because he was kind of
you...
like Loki. It was like he can do whatever, like he can shapeshift or whatever.
Yeah, like I thought they were supposed to be existentially foreboding.
Yeah,
and I didn't get that from Diana. So...
I thought that like I mean just like based on because she's not really like she is a goddess but she's more to me like a demigod.
Okay, that's kind of what it seemed like.
Because I think she was set up to be more of a demigod, but she's a demigod that can kill other gods just because there's God in her. She doesn't have technically a mother. She only has a father. Like she came from the So she's got half Zeus, but she's also mostly just made of earth. Although so is Aphrodite.
Aphrodite thing. Like, that'll be something they'll need to talk about later. Yeah. That is like a legitimate like where do we stand on this? Yeah. I don't understand. But
I mean, but still, she is basically like practically she's pretty much bulletproof.
Because she never got shot.
Although all the other Amazons got shot up. Really, there was a time where, like in the beginning, when I forget, is it her like aunt who jumps in front of her, saves her? But it looked like she also got shot, and there was like a scrape on her because
and then it healed right away, right?
Yeah,
and they just said like, oh, that's weird, and then left it alone for the rest of the movie. But
that's weird because this guy over here who's sitting in the water playing with it, like the glowy water, he's he looks real messed up. Yeah. Something happened there.
But we're starting to get short on time a little bit, but I do want to get into the one point that I want to make. The part that I loved the most about the villain Ares was that twist and then how much it made sense afterwards. Yeah. Because he was talking like they go into the meeting, they're like, oh no, you're not gonna go there and do this stuff. We got the armistice to worry about. And then we leave and then we see what was his name? Sir Patrick. That was his British name. So Sir Patrick comes up to Steve Trevor, right? That's the name, right? Trevor.
I think so. Yeah. Okay.
I feel bad for not knowing that name.
I know. The only names I remember are just possibly Lindenberg and Diana. Like I don't really remember. Like
I remember Sammy. Sammy was great.
Is Sammy the Scottish dude?
No,
or
he was
the guy who could like
with the
actor?
Fez.
He wanted to be the actor. I liked him.
And Chief. Although I
do remember Chief. Name. Yeah, it wasn't his name, but that's what they called him. So I do remember.
Yeah, that. But so Sir Patrick comes over to Steve and says, you're going, right? Like, this is what you need to do. Like, this is how you need to do it. And then we were
I'm not going to support it, but you're going.
Yeah, well, I mean, he even did seem pretty supportive. And
no, like he's not like I'm not officially going to support it. That's what I mean. Like he's not like because I can't support it, but don't worry, I'm going to make sure you go out there and you're going to do more war.
Yeah, exactly. And he had the whole audience saying, this guy's great.
I love the guy.
Yeah,
he's a good guy.
He knows what we need to be doing.
Nice man.
Right? It worked on. Not only did it work on the characters, it worked on the audience.
Yeah.
And then we get there and we realize that was just his ploy to keep the war moving.
Yeah, that was so cool. That twist was awesome.
Incredible. Yeah. That gave me chills when I figured that out. I was like, he tricked me, and I wasn't even in the movie.
But I know. I like it when they do that. Like not in the. Like some shows will do like a twist where it's just like you've never seen this character before and that's who it ended up being and it's like okay I don't know why you had to do that, but the way that Wonder Woman did it where it's like you've seen this character and you're like that it can't be him because it's always like it's never the person you least suspect, it's never the person you most suspect, it's always that middle person which is like okay so it's got to be for me that was Dr. Death. I was like oh that's her, that's who it's gonna be, Dr. Poison, whatever her name is, but the way they did it was like so good.
Yeah, I was because and I saw that it was going to be the German guy. I saw that it was going to be Dr. Poison, and then like it was Sir Patrick, and I was like, what? It was so great. I love that.
And part. I like it when they do that where it doesn't like you can't see it coming, but when the twist happens, it makes sense, and it totally made sense.
And it took a while for me to figure out that it made sense.
Yeah, I was like at first I was like, they just did the thing where they just show something to you,
it's
and
the
then
father
it's like,
figure guy, but yeah,
never mind. He was not the father of the people. He was the father of the war.
Yeah. And that rose. One question was the secretary seems to be totally on his side, right? When I didn't know her name, but the secretary, like they were sending them off, and the secretary was saying like, "Oh yeah, this you gotta go. Like he says, this is what we gotta do." Is she in on it? Is she?
I think she's just supporting Trevor. Because she's his secretary. And, like, they all wanted to do it. The only thing they couldn't do is, like, well, I mean, we don't have support, so we're just going here. We're doing a spy. Like, we're going to die. And then he goes in there and he's like, yes, you are going to die, but you're going to die for this country. You're going to die for the UK. You're going to die for London.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really cool. I just thought, I don't think that, but no, I don't think she's
Okay, because she seemed pretty gung-ho about it, at least from my point of view, and I was thinking, wonder what's going on there, but probably nothing.
I don't think it was anything.
Okay. We still have a little bit of time, but we're running close to short, so just the quick things I wanted to get out was we haven't touched on the humor yet. And it was a pretty funny movie for what it was.
It wasn't Marvel funny, though. It wasn't where, like, everything, single joke. Like, the one thing I think, like, Marvel is, like... The thing that Marvel does is, like, that one scene from Civil War where they're just in the car. And then they make that little stupid joke. I forget exactly what they said.
Move up your seat? No.
Yeah, and that just happens at, like, the wrong time. And I think, like, a lot of Marvel, like, because they feel like they have to have comedy, like, every... It's like they have to have, comedy every couple of beats. It's like, there's, like, you know, you have your beats to the movie. And it's like, okay, and now rhythmically, we have to add one here. It's like beatboxing. It's like we have our... Okay, so we're just going to... We have to have another, but instead of like Wonder Woman, it was like it could come in and you could just have anything come in at any time.
It came in when it made sense, and I don't have as big a problem with them. I take the Marvel movies.
I like the Marvel humor. I like it. I just think that it's like it is formulaic, but this movie did generic. It didn't do generic. It did organic comedy, which I liked.
But it was all great, especially the part where they were sailing.
Yeah,
that was good. What did she say? Like.
It's like, so you can't sleep with me?
But then, what did she say? She said something like, I was sculpted out of clay, and then my mother had Zeus breathe life into me. And he says, that's neat. That was good. That whole,
like, cause, like, how do you respond to that? Like, and I thought that Chris Pine as comedic relief he was pretty good. Like, I thought he was pretty... Okay, I have one last gripe. This is totally, it's not even that big of a deal. But the last thing, Chris Pine is British intelligence. Everyone from London that we talked to has a British accent.
He said he was American.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, at the beginning.
Never mind.
He said I'm American working for the British forces or something.
I did not catch that.
Yeah.
Because when he had the German accent, I was like, okay, so we know Chris Pine can do accents, so why isn't he doing? But now it makes sense. Okay. So never mind. All right, that's all good.
Yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to point out was everybody who spoke English spoke English. Everybody who spoke a different language from English spoke that language. All of the Germans spoke English.
Yeah.
What's going on here? I guess that would have been too much subtitles for the casual moviegoer, but I would have appreciated that attention to detail. I would have appreciated them to hear the German and just to get the German actors in there.
I agree. Yeah. But I also hate watching a movie and reading. I hate reading a movie.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't want to do like foreign films because you don't get to see the actors as much. You see the subtitles.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's why they did that, and also just to make it more appealing for everybody to watch it.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I get your gripe. I totally get that.
And I would have, because when he did go in as a German spy at the end, he had the German accent, which in my head I was like, I had to say, oh, he's speaking German.
Yeah.
And so I did like though that they kept it consistent and kept Sammy as the driver who knew all the languages.
Yeah, that was cool.
So he was probably speaking German too. So that was nice.
If you think about it that way, like I think like maybe honestly like that's a fair way to think about it. Like if they have an accent, they're probably speaking the native language. If the other characters can't understand it, or it's gonna be the only people who really did understand it were the people who had the accents, or was Diana and the other Sammy. Mm-hmm. So and it works if you think about it that way. The movie works. So I mean that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, it would have been good. I also really liked the scene in the bar.
I thought that was cool.
What was the Scotsman's name?
I forget his name. It's not Jeffrey. I don't remember. I probably should look it up.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah, and
Charlie.
They're like, oh, well, there's Charlie over there, and she's, oh, at least he's good with his fists. That's not Charlie.
And then he like finally falls
hits the ground. Yeah, and then they're going back and forth in all the different languages.
And I like that actually they showed his PTSD too. I thought that was a really cool thing to show to add in there as a little detail, just because
he kind of just became their scout. Like he never. Yeah. I don't think he ever actually pulled the trigger. He was just looking through the scope.
Yeah,
and that was fine.
That was cool.
I like all the characters. It was the Howling Commandos, but like more real. Yeah, like I got to know them better than I did the other guys. But no, it was good.
I thought that was good. Very good.
So really quick closing remarks. Go see the movie. It's great.
Absolutely.
The action's fantastic. Yes. The comedy is on point.
Mm-hmm.
The look is amazing.
Yes.
Yes. And it sets up such a great character for what will hopefully turn out to be a great cinematic universe.
Hopefully. Absolutely. And I couldn't have said it any better myself. I totally agree.
Yeah, okay. Well then, I guess that for now concludes the first episode
of another new voice show.
There you go.
All right. Thank anybody who made it this far into listening to our first podcast. If you'd like to see more, make sure to like, comment, and I guess you could subscribe too, but you don't have to do any of that. Just thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, if you want. Well, first, let's go over just off the cuff. Where are we going to put this?
Okay, so you'll be able to find this on YouTube. I'm going to try and put it on SoundCloud. Maybe I'll throw it on iTunes too if I can.
I can throw it on SoundCloud. What were you going to say? iTunes?
iTunes, yeah. I was going to say maybe we could put it on iTunes on the podcast channel there.
If you can get it there, I don't know how to do it. But if
I don't know how to do it. I'll figure out how to do it. It's probably not too hard. I'd love to do it if you guys, if that's what the listeners want, then that's where I'll put it. Or if everybody just wants to keep it on YouTube and SoundCloud, then so be it. That's fine for me.
All
right. Well,
Good to hear. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
You might hear us again. Maybe not. Probably will, though.
Yeah, we're going to try and make this a weekly thing, so if you like that idea, just, keep listening.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, goodbye. Adios. Aloha.